The girls try to take Kurumaru with them to the hot tub, but he is nervous about it as he maintains that he is a boy, even though his body is slowly changing into a woman. As they converse, Karin is upset over Toda proposing to Yukihime earlier. But as she continues to criticize him, Yukihime also joins the girls to make for an awkward encounter. Now Kirie asks Yukihime if she loves Toda, but she counters by asking Kirie about her own feelings for him. Kirie begins to panic, after which Kurumaru mentions that Yukihime is Toda's first love. Now a flashback shows us Yukihime as a little girl who is alone and abandoned in a wasteland where she is found by Dana, the Witch of the Rift. She begs Dana to kill her, but the witch decides to capture her and keep her as a slave instead. Yukihime wakes up and is shocked to learn that Dana's castle is a mysterious labyrinth that is bent by magic. She tries to make her way out of it, but it's of no use as Dana continues to taunt her. Yukihime has a hard time dealing with the fact that she might be here forever. But then she finds Toda, who is also a prisoner in the castle. Toda identifies her as Yukihime, but she acts surprised and rebukes him for being ignorant. Realizing the timeline he's in, Toda mentions the name Evangeline McDowell, and this triggers Yukihime, so she attacks him, after which she says that Yukihime is her distant cousin, but they don't talk anymore. Suddenly, she collapses in front of Toda and says that she's hungry. Toda immediately brings her some food, but she sucks on his blood instead, and it convinces Toda that this girl is indeed Yukihime. The two of them spend the next 2 years together and grow close as Toda is allowed to refer to her as Kitty. One day, Yukihime finds Toda with a hula hoop as part of his punishment for Dana, and then she helps him out of it by using her cloak. He finds her outfit cute and offers his blood again, but she knocks down his hand and notices a huge imbalance in his energy, thus realizing that he's actually a doll. Now Yukihime trains Toda to control this imbalance, and 4 years pass by as he starts to hone it. One day Yukihime shows off her puppetry skills to Toda, and he's impressed, but she doesn't seem to care much about it. Yukihime sleeps by the open balcony and thinks back to her past where she lost her mother and father in the wasteland. Toda notices her having a hard time and goes out to help her, but accidentally sees Yukihime's memories when he touches her. This outrages Yukihime, so she attacks him in a hectic sequence. In order to stop the chaos that follows, Toda says that he loves her, but realizes that she's not the same Yukihime he had confessed his feelings to earlier. After another hilarious attack, Yukihime grows frustrated with her life and asks Toda to kill her. However, he refuses to do so and says that he will make her find her purpose in life and that she has a lot to offer to the world. We're back to the present time now, and that's when Yukihime reveals Toda was in fact her first love. Meanwhile, Toda trains against Shinpei, but is blasted away to the same hot tub in the process. This leads to an awkward encounter, after which Yukihime attacks him. Later in the night, Kirie dreams about the final battle against Negi and his team, where she was teased about being in love with Toda. She wakes up from the dream and starts to suspect her own feelings towards Toda, so she decides to spy on him as he interacts with all the different women in his life. After careful inspection, Kirie realizes that Yukihime is the one he truly loves and starts to wonder who she is to him in terms of their relationship. That's when Toda interrupts Kirie's train of thought, so she abruptly leaves and goes to her room, where she starts trading in foreign exchange. Just as she starts to calm down from her feelings, she is interrupted by Toda and Mizore, who want to learn more about the money she's making. However, Kirie gets distracted by them and loses over 300 million yen in the process. She goes crazy and decides to kill herself so that she can start over from her last checkpoint, but Toda and Mizore try to stop her. Amidst the chaos, Kirie bites on her suicide pill, but ends up falling, so Toda protects her. However, this leads to the both of them kissing, and Kirie loses her mind. She is puzzled to see that she couldn't go back to her last checkpoint, and then they realize that time has frozen when they see Mizore and everyone else completely still. Kirie suspects that her mechanism got messed up during the fall and Toda wasn't affected by the spell, as he kissed her at that exact moment. Kirie worries that the two of them might be stuck in this loop forever, so she tries to figure a way out of it, while Toda tries to pass the time with an intense training regimen. Kirie grows frustrated with the results, so Toda helps her blow some steam by offering a cold shower. She enjoys the experience, but toys around Toda when it's his turn. With nothing else to do, they spend more time together and begin to bond even though Toda maintains that he thinks of Kirie as a kid. He does thank her for all her contributions towards saving the world, but she prefers to hear him say something more romantic. Later, she finds Toda with Yukihime and fears that he might get naughty, but she sees him helping her with her outfit, so she becomes jealous. Now Toda asks Kirie if he can sleep in her room, but she immediately says no to him and leaves. The next day, Kirie starts crying as she feels guilty for freezing time. Toda calms her down, but also mentions that he wants to go to the tower and climb it to find his grandfather. Kirie panics and berates him for leaving her alone, after which she begs him not to abandon her. Toda agrees, and then she allows him to sleep in her room that night. At first, she tells him to sleep on the floor, but begins to feel lonely after that, so Toda eventually finds himself in her bed. As they cuddle, Toda asks her why she's so emotional all of a sudden, and she brushes off the question. He asks her to soften up, but she says that she's always had trust issues and can never change. Now, Toda asks Kirie if she trusts him, and then he promises to never leave or betray her as he hugs her tightly. The next day, Kirie takes a risk and kisses Toda to see if the time spell will get reversed, and to her amazement, it actually works. However, Mizore finds the couple together and questions Kirie about what she's doing with Toda. The next day, Karin checks up on Yukihime but doesn't find her in the office, so she sneaks in and eats one of her chocolates. Toda visits the office a little later, and he also does the same thing. However, there seems to be some kind of spell attached to the sweets. Later, a lot of guests show up at the Senkyokan Inn and the Yukyu holders get to work. Toda does very well with his duties, and Karin starts to think of him as a good person. But her thoughts mess with her head, and she becomes conflicted about her feelings for him. As they continue working, Toda asks Karin to join him in his battle against his grandfather as he loves her. Karin is confused by his actions, but before she can say anything, Yukihime shows up and Toda begs her to marry him. Yukihime knocks him down into the floor and explains to Karin that the chocolates they ate were actually truth drugs, which is why Toda is being so romantic with everyone. The girls notice that Toda has escaped, and then we see him with Shinobu. He makes her blush when he confesses his feelings for her, and then Karin immediately knocks him away and reassures Shinobu that this is only because of the drugs. Meanwhile, Kirie fantasizes about Toda and he instantly appears in front of her to say that he loves her. This makes Kirie very happy, but then Karin chases Toda away again, after which she bursts her bubble. Toda seems to have gone completely insane as he starts to tell all the men and guests of the inn that he loves them as well. Sensing an opportunity, Mizore asks him what he thinks about her, but he only calls her tiny. Now Yukihime appears and traps Toda in a spell, after which she also sends Karin to her prison dimension as punishment for stealing her chocolates. Karin struggles with her feelings as Toda continues to whisper sweet nothings into her ears, so she runs away hoping to avoid him till the spell wears off. That doesn't work, so she transforms into her battle outfit and fights him, but he just toys around with her. Toda becomes impatient, so he puts Karin in a difficult position, and then he talks about his goals to save the world with her. Then Karin mentioned a man she loved even more than Yukihime, but ended up betraying him, and this led to her immortality curse. However, Toda protects her modesty and motivates her to do something worthwhile in her life, as he intends to use his own immortality for the good of mankind. Karin is overwhelmed with emotions and is about to confess her feelings, but then Yukihime comes in and reveals that the chocolate Karin ate didn't have the truth drug in it. Realizing that she actually loves Toda, Karin goes to the hot tub with Kirie to get some peace of mind. However, Mizore and Shinobu bring Toda to the tub as well, and it leads to yet another awkward moment. And there you go, that's the end of the OVA special. Like, share, and subscribe if you want me to cover this franchise some more, and hit the bell icon for constant updates. Okay then, I'll catch you in the next one.